I was always in fight or flight mode. And our brains, when we engage or we come across fear or anxiety or both, immediately want to either fight or flight away from the situation. Hey sis, welcome back to my channel where I love to talk about all things mindset, us walking in our purpose and authenticity. So today we're going to have a chat about how to overcome fear and anxiety for a brighter future. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. But sometimes we have to be reminded of that. So first we're going to chat about the science behind fear and how our brains react to fear and anxiety. Initially, upon doing my study for this, I thought about the fight-flight mode. Whenever we have fear or anxiety, our brains tend to go to fight mode where we feel like we have to defend ourselves, or we create this defense mechanism, or we may actually have to defend ourselves depending upon the situation. Flight mode, we can tend to run or, exit the situation, and sometimes in actuality, we may not necessarily need to exit, but because of that fear and anxiety, that's something that we may just do by default. There are times when fight or flight mode will be appropriate, just depending on, like I said, the circumstance of what's going on. However, there are instances where things can happen in our lives because we have fear around something because of an experience from childhood, or it could be an experience from adulthood. I had a fear of commitment from things that had taken place in my past. I wanted to flight. I wanted to run away. In the movie, The Runaway Bride, in my head, I was the runaway bride. I was wrapping the fear of things that I had experienced, I had seen others experience in my childhood. I was wrapping that around my life and my situation. And when I was placed in those moments of fear and anxiety, just from my own thoughts of what had happened to someone else, I would flight. I would disassociate myself in the relationship. I would try to self-sabotage because of my fear and anxiety of what could happen or what I felt like would happen because of what I saw others experience. I was always in fight or flight mode. A lot of times it is because a trigger, so a common trigger, is what usually causes our brain to react to that fear and anxiety. If you have a trigger that you know of, or even sometimes we don't even know we have a trigger, but we'll definitely experience something in that moment and it triggers us and our brain reacts to that fear and anxiety. So thankfully, I've been able to overcome fear and anxiety and not react to those moments when I feel fear and want to flight or fight. We have to learn how to do this because if we don't, it can hinder our relationships. So overcoming fear and anxiety is very important for us to improve in our relationships, to sustain sustainable, substantial relationships, and to move forward in our life. We have to face fear head on. We have to acknowledge those triggers causing us to react in those moments. Face the fear head on. What does that look like? That looks like sitting down. That looks like talking with someone, maybe talking with a therapist or a coach or a mentor, someone that can help you to identify those fears and triggers in your life so that you can move on forward past them. The first thing we have to do to face fear head on and anxiety as well is to challenge those negative thoughts. You know that I am a big component for mindset and overcoming negative thoughts, not because of what I've been told, but because of what I've experienced, what I've gone through, what I've been able to overcome, and what I want to help you overcome as well. We have to challenge those negative thoughts that come into our mind that try to produce that fear or produce the reaction to fear. Challenge those negative thoughts and believe that the best was going to, happen. Remembering Romans 8:28, that all things are working together for my good. I had to challenge those negative thoughts with positive, truthful thoughts that I knew that God's word spoke. That's what I want you to learn how to do as well. Whenever you're having a negative thought, challenge that with a positive truth or a positive promise that God has already given us in the Bible. He says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future."